Welcome to Grumpy Old Geeks, a weekly talk show where we discuss the finer points of what went wrong on the internet and who's to blame. I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister.
I forgot where we were for a second, Brian. We're only 6 seconds in and I already had a brain fart.
That's all right.
So you're the big Dodgers fan, and it's baseball season, and I'm going to hear about it endlessly. But I saw the score come through this week that the Dodgers played the Toronto Blue Jays, where you are ensconced up in Candonadia.
Yes.
And it was 14-2.
It was.
That's like a basketball game score. That's not like a baseball game score. What the hell?
It's worth a reminder that the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers were the two teams playing in the World Series just a scant few months ago. So they were the other best team in baseball, which we beat. Maybe not very popular up here in Toronto. They spanked them hard. They won the next game as well, 4-1 or something like that. And then because normally these teams never would have met during the normal season because they're in completely different leagues, et cetera, et cetera. But the rules...
One's in a different country, I'd like to point out.
One is in a different country, but they changed the way they do things a couple seasons back. So every team plays every other team at least once throughout the season. And they switch years. So next year, the Blue Jays will play the Dodgers in L.A. So when they do come here, since I've been living here, we've made a point of trying to go. So the third game was Wednesday, I believe, and it was an afternoon game as opposed to the night games, which run a little late for me to take the kid. So we pulled the kid out of school a bit early. Said they had a dentist appointment, and went off to
parents,
and went off to the what I call the Dodger game. Everybody else here calls the Blue Jays game, and unfortunately, the Blue Jays actually did win that one, so it sucked for me.
Okay,
but everybody else was pretty happy. So,
okay,
it was a good time. It's a good time. I do love my baseball. Anyways, we do have a bit of follow-up. Ireland is testing out a digital wallet that will conduct age verification for social media users. Again, we've been talking about this every show now, and the question is, how do we do age verification? So they are trialing what they're calling the government digital wallet, which will include a way to verify a user's age to access social media platforms. The government's Department of Public Expenditure, Infrastructure, Public Service Reform, and Digitalization. That's a running out of room on that business card.
Seriously.
Said people could store digital versions of their birth certificates, driver's license, European health cards, and more. They haven't laid out when this digital wallet will graduate beyond testing, but Ireland is required to create one by the end of 2026 as part of a European Union regulation. So I guess everybody in the EU will have to do it. So it looks like that's the way they're going to go. Kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. Get the government involved.
Yeah.
Then you just know. I mean, come on, it is 2026. You should be able to do this shit by now.
You'd think. And we do have even further follow-up. Yet another country is doing a social media ban for kids. Greece will ban children under the age 15 from using social media starting next year. Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, I think that's pretty good, made the announcement in a video posted on TikTok, where the kids that are about to get banned are. So I guess that makes sense. In which he referenced anxiety, sleep problems, and addictive design features as the reason for the ban. They've been pretty proactive in their approach to tackling excessive screen time for children, having already banned mobile phones in schools back in 2024. They will be requiring social media companies to uphold new restrictions by verifying the ages of their users. So Greece is kicking it over to the social media companies instead of setting up their own wallet, apparently. We'll see what happens there. Parents would also need to download an app called Kids Wallet, which is backed by the state, that could be paired to their child's device and block access. The Prime Minister conceded that he would likely incur the wrath of his country's young children, but fuck them, they can't vote yet.
Exactly.
He didn't say that part, but...
Well, good for them. Good for them and good for Ireland.
I mean, the tide is going everywhere except for the good old USA.
Yeah. We just get polymarket here now.
We'd rather have children all messed up.
We do. It makes for a much more complacent workforce.
Exactly, and a very uninformed voting population, assuming we get to vote.
Assume that is a very big assumption, Brian.
We'll see.
In the news.
Oh, Brian, the fucking irony of this next one is just kicking me right in the nuts. Rivals OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google are teaming up, yes, actually cooperating to stop Chinese competitors from basically speed running their models via something that they call adversarial distillation. Now, basically what they're worried about is these Chinese companies coming in and taking away all of their protected IP from their models that they spent all the money training up on our data.
Right. Right.
So they're worried that somebody's going to steal what they have already stolen.
I would love the Chinese companies to just go ahead and say, "Hey, free use."
Yeah, they are.
Good.
A lot of a lot of these companies are doing it. Like DeepSeek. Those are open models. A lot of these Chinese companies are releasing the models, which is great.
Well, we had a saying when I was a kid: "Turnabout is fair play."
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you remember when DeepSeek first came out, like Google lost gazillions of dollars in market share because they're like, hey, we can do this on old hardware and we don't need all of those super duper, GPUs that everybody else gets that we can't buy over here. So they did something that was called innovation. Yeah, they actually innovated instead of just saying that we just need the biggest and baddest hardware from NVIDIA. We can use the old ones and still make some great shit. But it's just fucking hilarious that OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google are all getting butthurt because these other teams are coming in and just basically reverse engineering their models.
How dare you do the things we've been doing?
I know. God
Not
damn
to
it.
us. We do it to you.
What else we got, Brian?
Well, we've been talking a lot about these prediction markets, Polymarket, and we haven't even mentioned Kalshi for a while because Polymarket's been the one mostly in the news. But they made the news this week. The Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel ruled on Monday that New Jersey has no authority to regulate Kalshi's prediction market, allowing people to bet on the outcome of sports events. Except we know it's not just sports events. That power,
it's everything.
The power rests with the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. The panel ruled 2-1. And the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is headed by President Donald Trump appointee Michael Seelig, who vocally and actively supports prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket, calling them exciting products.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth noting here that Donald Trump Jr. is a paid advisor to Kalshi and an unpaid advisor to Polymarket, and True Social, which is run by the Trump Media and Technology Groups, is set to start a prediction market of its own. So their own person, who's in charge of their own bullshit commission that they've decided is in charge of regulating this, says, hey, we don't need to regulate this. See how that works?
Nope. Yeah. We have said since day one that the grift is going to be happening in plain sight. And it is absolutely happening right in front of our very eyes. We should bet on it on Polymarket, actually.
We really should. The one, as I mentioned, it was 2-1 in favor of prediction markets and New Jersey not being able to basically block them. The dissenting opinion came from U.S. Circuit Judge Jane Richards Roth, part of our thin black line of mostly women judges.
Yep.
Saying that the Kalshi's offerings were virtually indistinguishable from the betting products available on online sports books such as DraftKings and FanDuel. So, here we go. The New Jersey Attorney General has asked the Third Circuit to rehear the case. Good luck with that.
Yeah, seriously. Not for another 2.5 years, whatever, 6.5, heat deaths of the universe at this point is what it feels like, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually, Brian.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Now, this next story is actually really interesting. The FBI was able to recover deleted signal messages from an iPhone by extracting data stored in the device's notification database. So in a recent case, investigators assessed cached notification content, which can include message previews if that setting is enabled, even after the Signal app had been removed from the device.
Oopsies.
Now, only What was that?
I said that's an oopsies. It sounds like to me. It sounds like some bad programming on Apple's part. That like if you remove the app, it should go through those sorts of things and pull out notifications and all the things that are stored. It should take everything from the app off.
I guarantee you right now that there are some coders at Apple who are tasked with that exact issue, because the housekeeping should have taken care of this.
Mm-hmm.
When the app ID is deleted from the phone, you should go through that and find anything with that app ID, notification and scrub it.
And let's stick a little pin on the concept of somewhat sloppy Apple programming these days, because we're going to return to that in apps and doodads.
Okay. So only the incoming messages were the ones that were recovered because, you can set that to say show on lock screen, show preview on lock screen.
Yeah.
So this is the user being stupid to begin with. You don't do that. You should never do that because the whole point of having your phone locked is that people can't see what's going on your phone.
Especially if you've gone out of your way to get an app such as Signal, which is supposed to be encrypted and safe and
Whoopsie. Yeah. So, this was just a kind of a fuck up on all levels from Apple to the user. Apple should have fixed this. The user should have known better, but they were all convicted. So,
I mean, well done on the FBI's part.
I got to give them that because I didn't think there was anybody home at the FBI anymore. There's actually some people left at the FBI that know what the fuck they're doing, which is amazing. But yeah, good job.
All right, we got some pig slip news. GoPro will cut. And hold on a second, let's backtrack. I didn't even realize GoPro was still around. I thought that they had pretty much kind of disappeared, and because I haven't heard GoPro had the second best marketing for a while, only second to Twitter, as I've always talked about, because Twitter's actual name Q score, as they used to say in the biz, was so much higher than actual usage. And the same thing with GoPro. GoPro almost became the Kleenex of cameras for a long time. It's just everybody said GoPro. That hasn't happened for quite some time. In fact, GoPro had completely disappeared from my mind until Artemis 2, when they basically mentioned that they had custom GoPro cameras on the outside of the damn ship. And I was like, GoPro? And then next thing you know, GoPro's in the news again. Anyways, they cut 23% of their global workforce by the end of this year as the action camera pioneer looks to reverse its fortunes in the competitive market. That's 145 employees that'll be laid off, with the restructuring process commencing in the second quarter of 2026. At the end of the first quarter, GoPro's total number of employees stood at 631, and it expects the costs to cut it between $11.5 million and $15 million, which is honoring severance packages and healthcare benefits. Again, it costs them millions of dollars to get rid of all these people. Yet companies, when they fire people, stock price goes up. Costs them money, but the stock price goes up.
To the moon. To the moon. To the moon. Literally, for GoPro, to the moon.
Despite their layoffs, GoPro is optimistic about 2026, banking on the fact that it was actually mentioned back in the public consciousness thanks to a rocket ship, as far as I'm concerned. No, they've got an AI-centric processor, which will spearhead a new era of performance and innovation for the company. So they're going to launch a bunch of new cameras with AI plastered all over it.
It's a fucking camera. Keep your AI out of my camera.
AI's in everything, man. I'm going to go buy a pack of AI gum.
Yeah, when your juicy fruit has a EULA, you're in trouble.
Look, I'm a purist and I refuse to buy those products. I will only buy machine learning gum.
Exactly. It's interesting though, because DJI and Insta360 have basically eaten their lunch.
Right.
Insta360 came out of nowhere, and I'm using one of their cameras right now. It's a beautiful camera. I've got their 360 camera, and they do basically everything that GoPro does, but kind of better.
Right.
And DJI's cameras are okay, but we know them for the drones, mostly.
Yeah, because I mean, we even just recently had the Winter Olympics, and that, I remember the Olympics for a while. GoPro was plastered all over everything, and they were using GoPro cameras, et cetera, et cetera. It was all drones, and they didn't pay the money because nobody was mentioning brand names. So
those were custom. Yeah, those were custom built drones.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I saw the write-up for the guy who actually piloted those drones. Those are very custom-built drones. And there was no... And I don't think they can... well, the Olympics are... where were they this year? Italy?
Italy.
I can't even remember. I didn't even watch, except for when, what's her name, broke her leg. But because DJI, has had problems here in the States.
Yeah, no, it was in Italy, so they should have been fine, theoretically.
But yeah, those were all custom. And... I got to say, I've had GoPro cameras, and I found them to be absolutely lackluster. The one place that you can still see that they're in use every week, Guys Grocery Games. They got them taped to the grocery carts. That's it. So if they can get Guy Fieri on board, maybe they'll make that comeback. So this is a This is an interesting one. OpenAI is backing an Illinois bill that would limit when AI companies can be held liable, even in worst-case scenarios like mass casualties or billion-dollar damages. The proposal, SB 3444, would shield so-called frontier AI developers as long as they didn't act intentionally or recklessly and published safety and transparency reports. Well, I haven't seen many safety and transparency reports from OpenAI, and they have absolutely acted intentionally and recklessly with their sycophantic fucking AI. But this makes sense.
This is a stinking of we're just a platform.
Yeah, this is exactly it. This is, they're trying to get ahead of it. They're trying to get ahead of it, and they're just going to fight the regulation as much as they can until it's just so funny. Like, let's be regulated. Sorta. Until it comes down to the
little
stuff.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But
we're not going to
really
take off anybody's clothes. Yeah. But if they kill themselves, that's on them.
Yeah, exactly.
We will make sure that you can't put your friend in a bikini, but fuck it, if they kill themselves, who gives a shit?
Or somebody else.
Yeah. It's great. I love how they cherry pick the things that they're going to care about.
Totally cherry picking. So we'll see if this goes through. Early polling in Illinois shows about 90% of respondents oppose giving AI companies a liability shield. So in Illinois, if you remember, they are the frontier of the facial recognition stuff. Yeah. I got a pretty decent sized check from Facebook because they actually used my they trained their facial recognition on my basically bio photo.
Right.
And so good for Illinois. You would think that they're, just some country bumpkin Midwest state.
Got Chicago.
It's got Chicago.
Second city,
That's
baby.
It.
Well, not anymore, but yeah, once.
Had one, yeah. So they're gonna slap the shit out of them. They're not gonna let that go through.
Good.
I don't think.
And I would just mention Artemis 2 and the GoPros. By the way, Artemis 2 is coming back today. They will be landing later.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be just amazing. I've been nerding out over this the entire time. It's been fantastic. But I've just mentioned Artemis 2 and their GoPros. And of course, that's not really the company that got the most mention out of this or the most mileage out of this. That would be first Nutella and the floating Nutella jar, which was fantastic. And secondly, Apple and their iPhones. And I just put this article in the show notes. Artemis 2 astronaut puts all of our iPhone moon photos to shame. NASA astronaut Reed Weissman took a photo of the far side of the moon with an iPhone 17 Pro, and then they put that up on the screen, and it is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Links in the show notes if you haven't seen these photos. It's science, man. Science. I know the fucking world is shit right now, but boy, did we need this, and boy, have I loved all this. This
every second
of it has been a lifeline to not killing myself thanks to OpenAI.
My roommate's a boomer, and she's just like, well, what's the big deal? We've already been to the moon. We've done this stuff before. I'm like, not since we've been alive, us Gen Xers.
Yep.
So it's a big fucking deal because it's like, it's hope. It's something.
Also, we're doing it again. We didn't do it for 50 years. We were giving... Yeah. I saw an article I didn't put in the show notes. I saw a map of all the fucking private spacecraft and satellites that are around the Earth. We gave it away to stupid companies and fucking Elon. This is us. This is our government doing it for us, for science, and that's it, not for fucking profit. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal. And I love that, they're trying to cut NASA's budget again, and they're basically, everybody's pushing back saying, fuck no.
Yeah. No, we love this stuff. We want this stuff. This is what I want my money to go to.
Ups and doodads.
This is from the You Have Exactly One Job file. Mercedes-Benz recalls us some G-Wagon EVs due to the risk of the wheels falling off. When you build a car, you have really one job.
Keep the fucking wheels on.
They have issued a recall for every Mercedes-Benz G580 with EQ technology with the 2025 model year as first spotted by Inside EVs. The current wheel boats could allow a wheel to loosen or detach from the vehicle, potentially affecting 3,734 models that are on the road. The issue here was the wheel boats were not adapted to the increased vehicle mass and higher torque load associated with the electric variant. So they use the same chassis and all the stuff, except EVs are a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And they did not take that into account. So
Okay. I think 3,700 out of those 3,734 G-Wagons are in my neighborhood. They're fucking everywhere. And I hope the wheels fall off of these fucking things. I saw one the other day because I drive a Jeep, and I'm surrounded by these assholes in G-Wagons. And somebody actually had a bumper sticker that said, "Enjoy your Jeep, peasant," on his G-Wagon.
right.
Oh, yeah. So I hope your fucking wheels fall off. That's
There you
what I'm
go.
saying.
They do say it's unlikely to occur in real world operating scenarios, and they will fix it for free if you take it to the dealership. So
You get new nuts.
you
Take it
get
in, you get some
heavier
new
nuts.
Yeah.
That's what you get. These nuts. That's what you get. If you're using an older Kindle, you're probably going to get screwed. Amazon has sent out emails to some of its users with a warning that it's discontinuing support for Kindle e-readers and Fire tablets released in 2012 or earlier. Yes, that is a long time ago, but yes, it has one job. You read a book with it.
Yep.
Why should it be discontinued?
It's so funny because the first Kindle that ever came out, the Kindle One, I bought it with the 3G subscription or whatever, so you could get it over cellular, get your books over cellular.
Yep.
And I gave it to my mom, and she had been using it for another decade.
Yeah.
They never like discontinued any support for that thing. So it's amazing that they're finally doing it now. But yeah, it's an e-ink reader. Why would you discontinue support for that?
It doesn't
makes no
really make
sense.
any sense. You can still read books you've downloaded on the devices. You'll no longer be able to purchase, borrow, or download new ones as of May 20th. In addition, if the device has an issue that can only be solved by a factory reset, you're fucked. It bricks it. Deregistering it will also render it unusable. On Kindle Fire devices, users won't be able to purchase or download content anymore, but other services will remain functional. This includes the very first Kindle, the Kindle 2, the Kindle DX, the Kindle Keyboard, Kindle 4, Kindle Touch, Kindle 5, and the first version of the Kindle Paperwhite. Engadget asked Amazon why it decided to cut off support for those models, much as we have, and they said,
Yes.
those models have been supported for at least 14 years, some as long as 18 years, but technology has come a long way in that time. Not for an e-reader.
It's a e-ink tablet. What the flying fuck?
What? So they said also it only affects approximately 3% of its current users, whom it's now urging to upgrade. It gave them a promo code for 20% off select Kindle devices, as well as ebook credits if they purchase a new model by June 20th. Our newer Kindle devices bring meaningful improvements to screen quality, performance, and accessibility, and you'll have access to your complete Kindle library and the Kindle store, the company wrote. Sure, yeah, but the old one works. Fine.
Yeah, it fucking works. Why are you just making junk? I think that everybody who gets these 3% of the current users that are going to get their device bricked should go find where Jeff Bezos is going to be and just throw them at him. The next thing, just like the tomatoes of our new society.
I mean, I get it's not a lot of users, and I get you might have to have some old code hanging out, and some maybe delivery methods have changed and all that sort of stuff. So you've got some legacy code in the system to send a book to an older thing. But so what? They bought it. It's their product. It's not even that ancient. It's an e-reader. It's not complicated. This is total bullshit. Screw you, Amazon.
100%. 100%.
And I got a new gadget, Jason. I've been, as you know, my wife and I are kind of foodies. We love to cook. We basically take our knives to get sharpened at least once a year, which started to get a little bit pricey. My wife is very connected to popular culture. She likes her people.com and getting her gossip. That's her downtime. That's her brain breaks from when she's yelling at Spotify or whoever she has to yell at for the day. So at some point recently, Ina Garten talked about her knife sharp, or she was cooking on one of her reels, and Jennifer Garner posted something about how do you keep your knives so sharp? And then she responded to Jennifer Garner, because celebrities only talk to each other, and talked about some like $300 electric knife sharpener that she has and uses at her house. That's amazing. And we looked at it and we went, wow, that thing is beautiful, but we don't need a $300 knife sharpener. How about the $80 one? And we tried out the Presto 08800 Eversharp electric knife sharpener 2-stage system, silver black. Does exactly what it says on the tin. This is going to basically recoup the cost in 1 year in terms of knife sharpening, and did a beautiful job. The knives are great. Slice through everything now. It slices, it dices, it cuts through a fucking can, Jason, just like the late night commercials.
It's so funny. I've heard that these are like chefy chefs would never use these things because they kind of destroy the blade as they go. But if it's sharp, then it's sharp, I guess.
And I think it will destroy. I mean, it definitely, like this one will not do serrated edges, that it will destroy that. And it does take off a little bit, obviously, but it's micro, and it's going to be decades before I've ruined the knives.
Yeah, I should just get one of these. I've got our friend Brian Blondell loaned me his very fancy knife sharpening kit that requires an iPhone app, and it's got like it's a whole thing, and it's like this looks much easier, and it's only $47.99 right now.
Yeah.
I can't afford that, but maybe at some point I'll get one.
Maybe when I fly back for the summer, I'll bring it with me, Jason.
Bring it with so I can just sharpen my knives. Yeah.
I'll charge you the fee,
Yeah, I'm in the middle of bankruptcy, so a knife sharpener is probably not the best use of my funds.
It's a bit of a luxury item, I'd say, Jason.
Yeah.
You just a little more elbow grease and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to use it. I'm going to use the stick in the stone right now to make them sharp.
And we were talking a little bit earlier about some oopsies by Apple programmers, and it's my opinion. I still love Apple. I'm all Apple infrastructure. I'm going to stay that way. I'm going to stay in the Apple environment.
Which is so funny because when we started the show, you were the PC guy.
I know, I was. I got converted. I was into it. But I do have to say, as everything has gotten more complicated, and it certainly has with all the various devices that we have and all the apps, and everything is a lot more complicated and interconnected now. Cracks have appeared in Apple's once titanium steeled programming. It used to be 100% if you had an Apple product and you paid for it, and it would work. Absolutely would work. It would be very rare to have any bugs or errors, and if there was, they fixed them toot sweet. But that has not been the case anymore. I think it's just all gotten too complicated. So we talked about the signal issue where, if you remove the app, it should have pulled out all those notifications and deleted those as well. Okay, they figure it out. You find it, you fix it. Great. There's another one, and I came across this one. Admittedly, it's a very small use case, but as someone who uses this flow daily, it's extremely annoying to me.
Okay.
This is with Apple Fitness, a recent update bug. They have stacks in the workout app, so you can stack a bunch of their different workouts together. You can order them, and then when you play them, they'll play in order, right? And as you finish each workout, it basically removes it from the stack, so it's very convenient. So like on Sundays when I'm at my kid's swim class, I will literally go through and I will make my workouts for the entire week. So I'll do something like a 20-minute HIIT workout, a 20-minute strength workout, a 10-minute stretching and meditation thing. And then the next day, I'll do a different set of 3 different workouts. And then when I go down in the morning to do my workout on my Apple TV, which connects to my Apple Watch, I just pull up the stack, I hit play, it does the 3 in order that I want to do. I just boom, 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 do my 3 workouts, and then I hit stop. And because I've done them all, it deletes them all. The next day I come down, my next 3 workouts start. And it goes through the whole week like that. And it's been beautiful and wonderful until the last update. And now, for whatever reason, on the Apple Fitness app on Apple TV, it randomly reorders your stack.
Okay.
It just, no rhyme, no reason. No matter what order I put it in, if I reorder them on the Apple TV app, the next time I load up Apple TV, it will re-scramble them all in a completely random order. It is fucking infuriating.
You sure you're just not hitting the shuffle button?
There is no shuffle button. There's no shuffle button. And, I Googled it, of course, and in the Apple forums and on Reddit, everybody's kind of saying the same thing. The people that all do exactly what I do. And it's just, we have to wait for an update. They're aware of it. Nobody has responded to anything. It just,
you're in the Apple limbo.
Because it's funny. I don't want to be working out anyways. And
nobody
now
does.
You've added friction.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a
Sorry to
drag.
hear
I'm
about
sure
that.
it'll get fixed, but here I am locked in with my Apple Watch and my Apple phone and my Apple TV and my Apple Fitness, and it doesn't fucking work the way it used to. When
You're so grumpy. The really shit thing is Apple makes it almost impossible to go backwards. Like you can't go back to a previous
I know.
version.
Yeah. And then
You
what
know?
I would have to do, I would probably have to go back on my watch, on my
Yep,
Apple TV,
exactly.
on my
And
phone.
your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
What a
just
pain in
fix
the
it,
ass.
Apple. Just fix it. I mean, yes, it's not that big. First world problems.
Media candy.
Brian, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
The Pit's so
have
good,
not
isn't
been-
it?
I have not been able to stop watching The Pit. I'm 5 episodes in on season 2, and I'm trying to slow down now. I was doing 2 a night, and now I'm just like, I took a break because The Boys came out, so I had to start watching The Boys last night, and until I fell asleep like halfway through episode 2. But it's really good. I really am enjoying the final season of The Boys.
Mhm.
But The Pit is just so fucking good.
It's the West Wing of medical dramas.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
man. It's competence porn.
Yeah.
It's literally just competence porn.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm there for it. I'm totally there for it.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the second season. We're keeping up with it. We'll watch the latest episode tonight. But yeah, it's well written. It's well acted. It's just great. It's
Yep.
totally solid.
Yeah, 100%. And I still like. There's no other medical procedural drama that I'm ever going to watch.
Me either.
Except for this one.
Nope. This is it.
I hate the genre.
This is the one.
Yeah, seriously.
Shrinking ended its third season. I feel like
Yeah,
it's
third season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to watch if there's a fourth. This feels very Ted Lasso-y to me. It is started up here and just kind of went. You get those occasional episodes that are really good, but
Yeah.
overall, it's just again, you can't fault the acting, you can't fault a lot of it, but it's just they're stretching believability. Like I just
Okay.
don't see how these people can all just be hanging out with each other all day, every day. Or why they would, because so many of their personalities are so massively different, and some of them are. Anyways, I'm glad the show has existed. I don't know if I'm going to take it much further.
Okay, because you've been bitching about it since the thing came on the air. This
season has been so all over the map, and it just nothing matches up to that first season. I felt the same way about Ted Lasso. Although I feel Ted Lasso was a stronger show overall than Shrinking.
Well, this comes back to the point that I made with Hacks.
Mhm.
You know, when I found out what they do over at shows that actually like win Emmys and are award winners,
Yeah.
they fire the writing staff.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to let the show coast on the awards that they've already gotten, and then they just hire cheaper writers to come in and do it. And I think Shrinking probably. I mean, I don't know.
No,
for a fact, but
they
it sounds
haven't.
like
It's still the same writers, which is
same team.
Yeah,
They're just out of ideas. Then
I think that
they just the well's fucking run
the
dry.
well is dry, my friend.
Okay, well, scrap that one.
Yeah. Daredevil. I've still been watching that as well. They better inject Jessica Jones soon. That's all I got to say. Because I do feel it's same old story over and over again. So many of the beats are exactly the same on this show. They didn't, they changed, the people and the places and the things and all that. But at the end, it's starting to feel very MCU formulaic. So I need something to shake it up.
Okay, yeah, I'm behind because every time I went to go watch Daredevil, I'm
Pit.
But I've got an episode of The Pit to watch, which says something because normally Daredevil would be at the top of my queue, the top of the list.
Yeah,
I'm such a huge mark for Daredevil, but the fact that it is kind of like the same fight scene over and over again too.
Yeah,
I've seen that fight scene since season 1.
Yeah, I could use less fight scenes and more interesting drama happening. Although something did happen at the end of this episode that's probably going to shake up the next few. So we'll see.
Okay,
no spoilers.
Well,
no
I'll
spoilers
get caught up. I'll get caught up soon. I promise.
All right. And as first reported by Deadline, Amazon MGM Studios have announced on Friday that the upcoming Spaceballs movie will hit theaters on April 23rd, 2027.
Okay, great.
It's in the can. It's done. We got to wait a whole year for it.
What the fuck?
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Like,
come on, Mel Brooks doesn't have that much time left. Let's get it out while he's
Mel
still
Brooks
around.
might not be around by the time you're actually going to put this movie out. And, you had a lot of publicity about it, and you're still getting a little bit. This isn't like the newest Star Wars that we waited 20 years for. This is just fucking Spaceballs. It should be funny.
Exactly.
But it's not like everybody's waiting with bated breath to run out and see this. Put it out already.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and they've got traction right now because Amazon MGM Studios put out Project Hail Mary. So they've got a space movie that that has some legs right now. So they should piggyback off of that and just get it out there. And especially, if you want Mel Brooks to do a press tour, you better fucking hurry up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't understand why they're sitting on it, but there you go. I Jeff Bezos is so much smarter than me.
Yeah, they better hurry up before they decide not to support it anymore because it's too old, and you have to get a 20% off coupon to get Spaceballs 3, because you can't watch it on your old Kindle.
Right.
So there.
And instead of raising prices again, Netflix may have to lower its subscription costs, at least in Italy. A court in Rome recently ruled that Netflix owes its Italian users a refund for price hikes between 2017 and January 2024 and a reduction to previous subscription costs. On top of the refunds, Netflix Italia would have to inform its affected subscribers of their right to have a refund. This is how you do things, people. The lawsuit was originally filed by Movimento Consumatori, a consumer rights organization based in Rome. They said that more than 25,000 Netflix users have complained that they're not satisfied with the price increases over the years. Me too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
According to lawyers representing the consumers, premium subscribers are entitled to a refund of roughly 500 euros, while standard tier customers should get back about 250 euros. That is a significant chunk of change.
That's a serious money.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of pasta.
They also said that if Netflix doesn't immediately reduce prices and refund its customers, the consumer rights organization would pursue a class action lawsuit to recover funds. Netflix spokesperson told Reuters that it would appeal, adding that the company takes customer rights very seriously and believe our terms have always complied with Italian laws and practices. On the other side of the world, Netflix again raised prices for U.S. customers, this time across all of its tiers.
Yeah.
So what's that money paying for? Well, they just released a free app called Playground for smartphones and tablets. This is a gaming app for kids aged 8 and under. It's available to all Netflix members on any tier, and the company promises it doesn't have ads or in-app purchases. It works without mobile or Wi-Fi connections, which makes it the perfect companion for long airplane rides or grocery trips and addicting your kid to Netflix at a young age.
Here you go.
I mean, their gaming is actually pretty good. Like we're still playing Boggle, the Netflix game, almost nightly, and my kid is destroying us now, and it's teaching him new words, which is fantastic. But we're very much limiting his screen time. Especially, we did so way more when he was under 8, which is exactly 8 and under is what this is geared right towards. So we'll see.
How old's your kid now?
He's turning 10 this year, man.
Jesus Christ.
Time, it flies.
When we started this show,
he didn't exist.
He did not exist. That's insane. Well, I would like to pimp another show that I've got called Anonymous, a recovery and addiction podcast. We finally started releasing new episodes, so season 2 has come out this week. So if you're into that kind of thing, go check it out. It's at anonymous.show. Link will be in the show notes. I think
I'm guessing because it's anonymous, you're not putting it up on YouTube like our shows?
No, there's no video for this one. And I'm technically breaking the rule right now by saying that I'm involved with it.
Anonymous except you.
Yeah, pretty much. I broke my anonymity a long time ago. But this season we've got some amazing guests on there. And
can't tell you about them.
Yeah, can't tell you about it, but we're kicking it up a notch. So check it out. I think it's a great show. The download numbers would not back me up on that, but hey, what are you gonna do?
At the library.
So I had talked about Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art by James Nestor a couple weeks back. I officially have given up on it. Like,
Okay.
this is
I thought you'd given up on it when you talked about it last time. Like, I got this book. I liked like 10 seconds of it, and the rest was shit.
I got really stubborn about it, and I was like, well, there's got to be some nuggets in here. There's got to be some actionable stuff. I must be doing something. This will improve my life if I keep reading this, and I will get an actionable insight into how to breathe that I didn't already know, or I didn't pick up in the first, basically in the fucking book flap. And no. I stopped. I gave up. So I've gone back to some of the first contact books. So hopefully I'll finish one of those up by next week.
Okay. Well, I have a book to recommend to you. It's an older book. It's called 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of says it's a time management book, but it's more kind of a life management book because 4,000 weeks is about the average time that we have to live, if you run the numbers on it. And I am way past the 2,000 mark. So it's, for me, it's like I get a little fire under my butt now and again when I read books like this, because I'm like, there's definitely far fewer days ahead than are behind, So, and it's really well written. The audiobook is, I think, I forget who's reading the audiobook, but it's really well done, the audio version of it. But I can't recommend this book enough. It's really, really good. I read a lot of these kind of books to just take the piss out of them. This one's actually solid. This is an actually solid self-help book that I thoroughly recommend.
Right.
So, yeah, check that one out when you're done with your next First Contact book. Because you got to be running out of those at some point. I mean, you can't write them that fast.
He's writing them that fast, as far as I can tell.
Okay. And I have been working my way through Mouse, the comic from 1992. Did you ever read Mouse?
I did, yeah.
It's phenomenal.
This is
absolutely phenomenal.
This came out while I was in college, so of course I read it. This is, this is like a strident, fucking as woke can be. So better read Mouse.
Okay. Yeah, I'd never got around to reading it, and I finally picked up a copy, and it's been sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, well, since we're going through it right now, I should probably bone up on it.
Yeah.
And wow, it's amazing. I can't wait to get to the second book and finish it up.
Yeah, and this administration can't wait to enact the second book.
I know. I'm reading in real time is how it's going. I'm just following along.
See, it's like reading the news.
Yeah, it pretty much. So go check it out.
Yeah, between Mouse and the Lego videos being put out by Iran, I think that's all the news you need.
The Dark Side. Ha! With Dave.
Welcome to The Dark Side with Dave, with podcaster who never sleeps, Dave Bittner. How you doing, Dave? It's nice to see you again.
Oh, I'm best described as hanging in there. Been a good week. Not a good week. By good, I mean horrific. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it's just been something.
Yeah. Here we are.
But there's Artemis too. There's Artemis too, Dave.
Yes,
we've all pinned our hopes on this, and if this thing fucking challengers today, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah, I have more on Artemis 2 later in my comments.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
First things first, we have new Star Wars. We should always lead with this. We have Maul Shadow Lord has dropped on Disney+. I watched the first episode with the kid yesterday. Solid. I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Dark, underworldy, as it should be. It's the plot. Episode 1, pretty good. Episode 2 is out, and then they start to drop weekly. So be watching the second episode when the kid comes home from school.
All right. Well, I was not planning on checking that out, but with your recommendation, I will.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that Darth Maul moves me in any way, shape, or form. I just don't really care much about him. But if you say it's a good show, I'll check it out.
Yeah, they really flesh out his character in the animated series, a bunch of the different ones. So you do start I'm pretty up on his story, and he's almost you almost feel sympathy for him to some degree. I mean, he's still an asshole because
Okay.
But so far so good. I am enjoying it. I got to say that they've really been knocking it out of the park with these animated series. They've been pretty good.
Well, I mean, we just want to tag on to that idea about shows we've been watching. I saw you guys earlier in the show talked about Shrinking and The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought I'd piggyback on to those. Have not watched the season premiere of The Boys yet, but it's on my list. Although
Very good. Highly recommended.
Is
First
it?
2 episodes are solid. Yep.
Okay. Well, I did not go back and watch the what's the other one where they're in college?
Yeah, you should.
I know.
It's really, really good. It's actually, I think it rivals The Boys as far as quality goes.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it up until the first episode of the most recent season, and the first episode of the most recent season was so bad that both my son and I were like, "Yeah, we're out of here."
It gets so much better. You have to. That episode was a stinker, but it gets a lot better. A lot better.
Okay. And then we had the season finale of Shrinking. How'd you guys come away feeling about that?
Couple thoughts on that I had really quickly. I felt that it kind of followed the same arc as Ted Lasso in terms of diminishing returns every season. Nothing has quite matched the first season. I felt that it was a satisfying conclusion for the season, and then they immediately followed that with news that it had been renewed for a season 4, and I went, no, that was a good end.
Yeah.
And I found that this season in particular was very hit or miss with episodes. There were some episodes that I was just like, what is even happening? And then there were other episodes that did have the feels.
Yeah.
I personally, I feel like they could have walked away and it would have been a pretty good show. And I'm a bit more than a bit worried about a season 4.
Yeah. I would agree with every point that you made there. So here's hoping, but we know how these things usually go.
Yeah.
So I put this in here because I know it's security, and we generally don't talk about security anymore. But this is kind of a big deal, I thought, and it's worth talking to you guys about because I want to get your read on it and see if this is a tempest in a teapot or just more AI bullshittery. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell convened an urgent meeting with major Wall Street bank CEOs to address concerns about a new AI model from Anthropic and its potential impact on cybersecurity. The focus is Anthropic's latest system called Mythos, which the company says is capable of identifying and exploiting vulnerabilities across major operating systems and web browsers. Regulators are concerned that tools like regulators, who the regulators? Regulators are concerned that tools like this could enable a new generation of highly sophisticated cyber attacks, particularly targeting systematically important financial institutions. Now, this has been making the rounds.
At this point, Jason, just really, at this point, the regulators is one guy in a basement office saying, "Where's my stapler?" That's who the regulators are in the government now.
Yeah. I've seen the reports on the bugs that this thing has found so far, like in the Linux kernel and all sorts of other shit. And people are kind of getting trippy about it. And it's so everywhere right now that Palantir stock is tanked because they think that this is, this is going to put Palantir out of business, which is very interesting.
That'd be great.
But what are you guys seeing and what are you guys thinking about this?
Well, like you're right. It's been in all the news, all the cyber news lately. I think initially a lot of folks kind of poo-pooed it, that it was really just marketing and PR, that Anthropic was hyping their new model and they were making it exclusive access to a few companies because it's so powerful it can't be released to the rest of the world, and that it was just, BS and whatever. But then the people who were actually using it started talking about it. And like you said, some of the bugs that it was finding started coming out, and some of them are decades old. It's finding all sorts of things. So my take on it is that the main concern is that this tool will cause an avalanche of bug reports that there won't be time to mitigate. And that's
we're already seeing that.
It's like the same
we're already
thing.
seeing those things.
It's like the same thing with Apple's app stores, because vibe coding has enabled so many people to release. Like, things are now coming faster than anybody can check them. Then there's any oversight. Then there's anything. Like,
right. Yeah. Absolutely. So
these seem to be real. That's the thing, is like these are like real 0 days that they're finding here, which, if the bad guys get a hold of these, which is why everybody's freaking out, it's like this could really be like a major fucking thing.
Right.
So,
and what's the solution here? And
more AI.
I was surprised to see that. Yeah, well, more AI, obviously, because that'll solve everything. But I was surprised to see this meeting with the Treasury Secretary and the Federal Reserve Chair. That was unexpected, but I guess in retrospect, it makes sense. I don't know. I hate to say that I feel a little numb with all this kind of stuff because it is coming so fast and the rate continues to accelerate. And for myself, I'm finding it hard to process all of it every day and figure out how do we possibly mitigate these things. I guess it's so far out of our previous experience and our history and knowledge of how to contend with something like this when we have a threat that is coming at machine speed. I don't know. We just hold on to the bar. We'll see how, because this is going to this is going to fall into the hands of the bad guys. Count on it, if not already. It is too valuable to not. So.
Well, and if
We'll see.
Anthropic built one, somebody else is going to build one within a few
Right.
weeks. And, maybe they're not going to be as circumspect about trying to keep it contained. It's a Pandora's box that we've really opened with this stuff. I don't know.
And on top of this, you have the fact that Anthropic is still banned by the federal government. It's just
Yeah.
Today we reported on the fact that there was a judge who upheld the Pentagon ban while it makes its way through. In other words, didn't put a stay on it to allow it to stand. So in the midst of the Treasury Secretary and the Federal Reserve Chair getting together with the Wall Street CEOs to talk about this thing, we have Anthropic in the middle of a pissing match with the Pentagon when what's really needed is everybody getting along and figuring out, how we're going to handle all these things. So it's chaotic. Shocker. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2026.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I've been trying to keep up with all the AI news, and it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
Well,
Every day
it's a
there's so
fire
much
hose
stuff.
torrent of just
and
trying to figure out, like to Dave's point earlier, trying to figure out what is just PR bullcrap versus what's real news and what these things can really do versus what they're saying they can do it to try to get some more money, and it's fucking exhausting.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on this one for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to follow up. I meant to talk about this last week, but it slipped my mind. I guess a few weeks ago, before I went off to RSA, we were talking about the Strong Songs podcast, which we're both, we're all fans of. And so when I was on my way back from the RSA conference, loaded up my phone with podcasts to listen to. One of them was the latest episode of Strong Songs, in which he covered Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. I'm halfway over the continent, 30,000 feet, and I'm weeping like a baby. And
now, to be fair, there's something about being in a plane and that makes me weepy anyways. I think I cried to like one of the Batman movies once because, you're on a plane, you maybe have had a, Jack and Coke, and the oxygen is what it is. And
Right. You're already feeling a little isolated and restricted and all those kinds of things. But I had never, obviously I know the song Both Sides Now. I had never really dug into it deeply.
Yeah, it's just kind of part of the firmament. Like it's there, and it doesn't. It was a bit before our generation, so we don't feel it. Like my biggest exposure to it probably comes from Love Actually. Emma Thompson listening to it, and yeah.
And he digs into the history of it, how she made this song when she was in her 20s, and then she revisited it when she was in her 50s, and compares the recordings, one accompanied by guitar, the other by an orchestra, and how different it is when you consider it in your 20s and versus when you're in your 50s. And again, I'm weeping. And but one of the things that what's his name? Kirk, I think, is the host of that show.
Kirk Hamilton. Yeah.
Yeah. He said he was talking about conversations with his dad. Now, coincidentally, I'm listening to this on the anniversary of the passing of my father. So
Right.
I'm already primed to be a big emotional mess, right? But it hadn't hit me. It was sort of in the back of my brain. And then he starts talking about things with his dad and conversations, and he said this phrase. He said, "As you get older, your passions soften into wisdom." I was just
Yep.
like, "Oh my God, it's so true. It's so true."
You know,
And I don't know if
after
it's
the Under Pressure episode and then the Both Sides now, I actually I'm a little worried about Kirk. I feel like I should drop him an email and say,
yeah,
Are
Give him a
you
hug.
trying to
You're
kill
right.
us, or are you not doing well yourself? I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on, buddy. But can we get a fucking happy episode? Can we do a disco song? Can we?
Right.
Can we?
Right. Like,
Get some village people in here.
Yeah, let's unpack "Walking on Sunshine"
Yes,
by
please.
something stupid and meaningless. Yeah, that's
No, it was
good
a
idea.
it was a very impactful episode, and obviously, same thing. Being in my early 50s now, it's not a song I really thought about much. But as he breaks it down, and you're listening to it, and then you Jesus Christ, it is one of those episodes. Like Under Pressure and this one have destroyed me.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Oh, dear, I
again.
guess I got to listen to it.
Yep.
I listened to Under Pressure, and I was just at the end. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
give me a tissue. But okay,
But I think
Damn.
it's good. I mean, I think it's because I think, like, for me anyway, there's a difference between weeping and crying.
Yes.
Like crying I do when I'm sad, but weeping is more of like an emotional release, and it's not necessarily sadness. It's just it's some sort of escape valve,
Mhm.
and so I feel good on the other side of a good weeping session, I think, or at least relieved.
How'd
that
the
make
guy
sense?
sitting next to you feel about it?
Well, it was a gal, and fortunately, she was very into whatever she was watching on her iPad. So,
Okay,
I'm sitting there a
fair.
blubbering mess. I
She's
had the
watching
window
The Boys.
seat. Yeah, exactly. I had the window seat, so I'm looking out, the clouds,
At the clouds
below,
that
and
she's singing about.
yeah, exactly. Ugh. I'm above the clouds before I was below the clouds. Anyway,
I've seen both
do
sides
check
now,
out.
Dave. I've seen both
Yeah,
sides.
I know, literally and metaphorically. Somehow I missed that the marathon game had launched, and
it's been out for a couple weeks now. Yeah,
so explain to me, how can I play this?
I think you need to go get yourself a console or a PC.
So this will play on my PS5, my son's PS5.
I do believe it's out for the PS5. I was going to get it, but like I mentioned before in the show, I'm going through bankruptcy and I don't have money for things like that right now. So
Yeah.
I won't be checking it out. But
GOG.show/donate. Yes.
please, pretty please.
Huh.
But yeah, it's out, and the reviews were pretty decent that I read. So
That's what I saw.
Looks like it's a decent game. Yeah,
I watched some gameplay, and it seems it has that feeling of old Marathon, which was a classic and very important to me. But the flip side of it is, like all modern first-person shooter games, they're so twitchy now. Everything
Yeah.
moves so quickly, and I'm hoping that there's a setting that I can slow
There's
that
old
down.
guy mode.
Yeah, exactly.
there is. There actually is on most of these games now.
Yeah. Give it a little jelly to not give me motion sickness. So
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, my thing is, I like first person shooters. I'm a Quake 3 arena guy. I mean, that's what I came up on. You
Yep.
know, I was semi-pro. I actually played in a lot of tournaments, and I was really good at it.
Mhm.
But I need a keyboard and a mouse. Like
Mm.
doing the thumb thing just does not work for me. I just do not like first person shooters if I got to use that stupid controller.
Okay.
Give me a keyboard and a mouse any day of the week, and I will mop the floor with you. But using the little thumbsticks, I suck.
Okay.
They're too sensitive. Even if you turn the sensitivity all the way down, it's like my thumbs don't work that way. I'm not a kid. I need a mouse, please. Mouse and a railgun, and I'm good to go. But yeah, if you check it out, let me know. I would like to play it, but like I said, can't right now.
Yeah. No, I get it. So yeah, I'll have to get my son to spring into action and make it so, which is more and more what happens these days. Just Jack, make this remote work. Okay, Dad. I hate to admit it, but it's where I am. There's just so much. There's only so much extra mental cycles, and so
Look, we've been tech support for our families our whole lives. It's time that it's good that you can now offload some of that to your son.
damn straight.
You know, it's his turn.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if I had a little nostalgia moment, and I'm curious if you guys are old enough to be in this zone where this would affect you or resonate with you, I guess is a better word for it. One of the shows that my wife and I watch when we're falling asleep, or I'd say one of the shows we put on while we're falling asleep, is The Love Boat.
Right.
It is gentle. It's funny. It's nostalgic. I particularly like it because of all the old Hollywood people who show up on it. You get vaudevillians on Love Boat.
Charo.
Milton Berle.
Right,
Charo.
exactly. Yeah, Charo. they're-
Charo, yeah.
Yeah. Kate Smith. And so we had Love Boat on earlier this week, and I'm watching Love Boat. I'm starting to fall asleep, and one of the guests come on, and I said to my wife, I said, I'm probably wrong here, but I think that's Pinky Tuscadero. Now, does that name mean anything to either of you?
Of course it does.
Okay. Brian?
Yes, but I have to say I saw these things on Sunday morning repeats. So I a bit later than you guys probably. So like not the
Yeah, I watch that live.
Yeah,
every
I
Friday night.
didn't watch these live. This was when I was taken to my grandparents' house and deposited in front of the TV on Sunday afternoons while my dad did things around fixed things around my grandfather's house. So,
Right.
I watched them on Friday night when my mom would dump me at my grandparents' house because she wanted to go have her free time. So,
Yeah.
but I watched Love Boat with my grandparents because it was Love Boat, and then right after Love Boat was Fantasy Island.
Right.
So.
Right. So, and it turns out I was right. I figured if she wasn't Pinky Tuscadero, she was someone from Greece. But no, it was Pinky Tuscadero.
it was the Pink Ladies in Greece, right?
The Pink Ladies are in Greece, right?
Yeah.
And I think Pinky Tuscadero had the Pinkettes was her little squad of minions.
And
then later there
Channing was one of the original Pink Ladies, who was then awesome as the first lady on West Wing.
Correct. Stockard Channing, a 35-year-old high school student.
Yes,
in the
well,
movie
they all
Grease.
were back then.
Yep.
It was a we graduated a bit when the 24-year-old Johnny Depp was in 21 Jump Street as a high school student, and
Right. So of course, Pinky Tuscadero had a sister named Leather Tuscadero, who later came on the show. Anyway, I have a link to the YouTube clip of Fonzie and Pinky breaking up, which is a real, not quite as tear-jerking as Strong Songs, but perhaps nostalgic to some of you. But then
Fonzie
the other
saw
thing,
both sides now.
That's right.
Pinky and Leather.
Oh my. But then the other thing this reminded me of, we were talking about the Evel Knievel stunt cycle.
Yes.
Fonzie had his own stunt cycle, and it was comparatively lame.
Was it because it very famously jumped over sharks?
Well, this one didn't. So I included a link to a YouTube commercial for Fonzie's Garage, which was a toy. And so it's Fonzie's Garage where you get to fix cars and spend time with Richie and Potsy and Ralph Malph. But they also have Fonzie's Stunt Cycle, which instead of jumping over things, turns around in a circle. Ooh, that's exciting.
Yay.
It's like it's got training wheels on it. It's really lame compared to the Evel Knievel thing. And when I first remembered that Fonzie had a stunt cycle, I thought to myself, they must have just taken the Evel Knievel stunt cycle and just rebadged it. Put a leather jacket on it. Yeah, put a leather jacket on Evel Knievel and paint his hair darker, and bip bam boom, you got Fonzie. But that's not what they did. They made his own stunt cycle that was very lame. So it's a fun commercial though, of its time.
I do like those old commercials. What I do wish that when they have these reruns of these shows from the 70s and the 80s, I wish they ran the original commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch the shit out of I would actually skip the show Like, I don't even want to see the show. I want to see all the original commercials that ran when this show ran. I want the live feed from back in the day.
Well, and there's plenty of that on YouTube. You can go
Yeah.
find strings of 70s commercials, and you can find original shows which still include the commercials.
Yeah,
Even
the reason I
promos are
haven't done
fun.
that is I'd be withering away and still watching it right now. Like, I wouldn't have shown up for this. I probably wouldn't eat. I would just be sitting there scrolling endlessly.
Old McDonald
Better than
Land
watching what's on the
commercials-
air now. So
That's true. That's true.
Old McDonald Land commercials are weird. Oof, they are weird, like psychedelic weird. I guess it was because it was the time. I mean, the McDonald Land was a ripoff of HR Puffin stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess that was the aesthetic that they were going for. And it's weird. Well, the last thing I have here is a video that NASA posted about the Artemis astronauts, put together a little music video. It's called Moonjoy. It's wonderful. One of the flight directors said, "If you can't take love to the stars, why do we even do it?" And so it's a happy little boost. I think when we all could use one. So here's hoping that they touch down safely later this evening. But this is a nice little video. So highly recommend it. It made me smile and made me happy. And that was much appreciated.
we need more of that.
We do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take the win.
All right, guys. Until next
All right.
week.
Until next week. All right. See you guys. Take care.
Closing shout outs.
So I don't know if you guys didn't hear the last episode where we said that this is an ad support or a fan supported show because we don't have ads that much anymore. We have no new patrons. So, but we do want to thank our current patrons: Peter, Brian, Jade, Howard, Andrew, Hot Wings, FTW, Darrell, Derek, and Geeky Grump I Am, and Ben. So thank you guys for still sticking with us. We appreciate it very, very much.
We absolutely do. And over at PayPal, thank you to Florian, who made a donation.
And over the tip jar, we've got Patrick and John. Hi, John. And so if you guys want to help support the show and keep us on the air, we really appreciate it. Go to gog.show/donate, and you can find ways to donate there. Or you can go to patreon.com/GOG and sign up for as little as $3 a month. And you can get the show early, ad-free, and in high definition. That's right, high definition. So check it out. We appreciate it. Seriously.
We sure do. And hip-hop pioneer Africa Bambaataa has died at the age of 68. He's one of the founding figures of hip-hop culture, and the Hip Hop Alliance has confirmed that he passed away. In a statement, the organization said Bambaataa helped shape a global movement rooted in peace, unity, love, and having fun, paying tribute to his role in the emergence of hip-hop as both a musical genre and cultural force. Unfortunately, in his later years, his reputation was overshadowed by allegations of child sexual abuse and trafficking, which he denied. But that's why we haven't heard too much of him. He said the TMZ had reported the artist died in Pennsylvania due to complications from cancer on Thursday. Africa Bambaataa is somebody that appeared a lot in the music that I listened to. He did some stuff with Johnny Lydon from the Sex Pistols, Time Zone, which is a great song, absolutely fantastic. And he also appeared on a lot of EDM and stuff that I was listening to. And well, I don't know if we're sad or not, because apparently he was not that great of a guy. So
Yeah, kid toucher.
Yep.
So
there you go.
what you going to do?
I don't know. Everybody seems okay with Michael Jackson. So here we are.
And the president.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Until next time, I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister. Thanks for listening to Grumpy Old Woke Geeks. Get all the links and goodies from today's episode at gog.show/741. Want to keep the grumpiness alive? Toss a few bucks our way at gog.show/donate. Every penny helps keep the show on the air. Love the show? Share it and punch a fascist. There's a share button in your podcast player. Use it to spread the grumpiness to friends, foes, and everyone in between. We'll love you for it. Swing by gog.show to join our Discord and chat with us and other show fans. Got thoughts, feedback, cool links? Hit us up at gog.show/contact. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review at gog.show/review, and we'll read it on the show. And guess what? We've got merch. Snag the Grump gear now at shop.gog.show. And stay... Wrong boob.
Wrong boob.
Wrong boob.
There you go.
And stay grumpy.